Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Hare Krishna. We need some space management, seems. Out of time management, we need space management. 3 dimensions, space, time and thought. So, time management, space management and thought management. Thought management comes by chanting Hare Krishna and attending classes in the Bhagavatam. Yeah, please move up in as much as possible. If we're really tight on space and could sit here on the stage also, the chairs could also be put tightly, I suppose. Hare Krishna. Yeah, please move in. There'll be more devotees coming, presumably, during the class. Kripa Mai Prabhu, time management. We have space management now for time management. What's my time limit? Nene, what's the time now? Until 10 o'clock. We have until 10 o'clock. We have limited time to speak about the unlimited Lord. That's the nature of this material world. That's why we have to speak about Him, so that we can go to the unlimited world and speak unlimitedly about Him. And maybe steal His lunchbox also. Meantime, where's my watch? Meantime, where's my watch? Thank you. Translation. My dear Master, this is from Brahma's prayers to Lord Krishna. So it's Lord Brahma speaking. After he had been bewildered by the energy of Krishna into thinking that Krishna was not his master. He now says, Prabhu, my dear Master, although you have nothing to do with material existence, you come to this earth and imitate material life just to expand the varieties of ecstatic enjoyment for your surrendered devotees. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that just as a lamp does not seem to shine as brightly in sunlight as it does in the shade, or as a diamond does not seem as brilliant on a silver platter as it does on a plate of blue glass, the Lord's pastimes as Govinda do not seem as amazing in the transcendental abode of Vaikuntha as they do within the material realm of Maya. Lord Krishna comes to the earth and acts toward his pure devotees exactly like a devoted son, boyfriend, husband, father, friend, and so on. And within the darkness of material existence, these brilliant, liberated pastimes give unlimited ecstasy to the surrendered devotees of the Lord. In his Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada quotes Lord Brahma as follows. I can also understand that your appearance as a small cowherd boy, a child of the cowherd man, is not at all a material activity. You are so much obliged by their affection that you are here to enthuse them with more loving service by your transcendental presence. All right, last call to come inside, please. Sit down. There's space on the dais. If any. Actually, there's off the dais also. There is. So as you all know, today is Sri Krishna Janmashtami, also known as Krishnashtami, Gokulashtami. Know any other names for it? What do they call it in Orissa? Janmashtami mostly, yeah. Mostly. The very title is a conundrum. Janmashtami, Krishna's Janma, on an 8th day, a specific day, Ashtami. It's the Krishna Ashtami, the dark fortnight, the 8th day on the dark fortnight of the Shravan month. So, he who is unlimited takes birth in a particular time and a particular place. Where was Krishna born? Anyone know? Mathura. And he was born of Devaki and Vasudeva. So they say. So some people say. So it is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. However, there are others who say that actually Krishna was born in Vrindavan as the son of Mother Yashoda. Who says that? Well, Jiva Goswami says that, citing Vedic evidence. It's a big secret, mystery. Anyway, Krishna is born, and he's unborn because the unlimited cannot be born. Unlimited means unlimited in all respects. Unlimited means there's no beginning and no end. If there's any beginning or any end, then he's not unlimited in time. However, the complete definition of the unlimited is that everything is possible for him, everything is done by him. So even though he's not born within space or time, he is also born in space and time. Because if we say he's unlimited and we say he can't be born in space or time, then he's not unlimited. There's a limit on him. So Krishna, who does not take birth, ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swamadhishtaya sambhavami atmamaya. He who is not born, he declares himself aja, unborn. And avyayatma, his form, his personality, his very being, it never deteriorates, as does every born being who we perceive within this world. It does not deteriorate. At first, those who are born appear to grow. It looks very promising. Everyone's happy. But after some time, that form which grows stops growing and starts deteriorating. But Krishna's form is not like that. Krishna is avyaya atma. Doesn't deteriorate in any way. And he appears within this world by his Atma Maya, by his own energy, by his own desire, by his own mercy. Maya has various meanings. Someone says to you, you are in Maya. Of course, we don't say that nowadays because we're nice to people. We don't say nasty things like that anymore. You are in Maya. You say, oh, that's good. Thank you. I'm in Krishna's mercy. It's by your blessing, you're putting me in Krishna. Of course, Mahamaya, the external energy of Krishna, that's also his mercy, but not in such a pleasant way as his internal potency. When we ask for Krishna's mercy, we're not asking to be placed in his external potency. So Krishna appears in this world even though he doesn't take birth, and he does take birth. And people say, well, that's not logical. It's a contradiction. How can you say that he takes birth and the next breath say he doesn't take birth? Well, Krishna is not bound by logic. The logic of the unlimited. Actually, this is logical. If he is unlimited, then he must be not taking birth and also taking birth. So it is logical, but it doesn't fit within normal paradigms of logic, because he is ulangita trividha sima. He's beyond three kinds of limits which every living being is subjected to, and which Krishna is not subjected to. The three limits are time, space and thought. Everything that is imaginable, Krishna is beyond that also. So how shall we speak about the unlimited, who is impossible for us even to conceive? Well, we can conceive of him by his mercy. We are all here together today by his mercy, transmitted or received through his divine grace, Srila Prabhupada, Krishna Kripa Sri Murti, this His divine grace, means Krishna Kripa Sri Murti, who is the very form of Krishna's mercy, who very kindly, through the agency of Sriman George Harrison, as Srila Prabhupada refers to him in the Nectar of Instruction, established here the worship of Sri Sri Radha Gokulananda. Today is Krishna's birthday. It's the 5,000, how many, who knows how many years, 200 and something? Anyone? Keshi Daman had it yesterday, almost. Anyway, it's 5,200 and something's birthday of Krishna. And it's also the 35th birthday of Sri Sri Radha Gokulananda, who were born here on Janmashtami, or appeared here on Janmashtami in 1973. And father and mother, well, Prabhupada was acting as the father and mother and devotion of all the devotees. Bhakti is the mother. Devaki is compared to Bhakti. Krishna takes birth from Bhakti. Krishna doesn't take birth from any normal material womb. So, Bhakti is the mother of Krishna, and Radha Gokulananda's birthday, and I usually make an announcement on Janmashtami Day to whoever might like to hear. It's also my birthday because I was born here 33 years ago by the mercy of Sri Sri Radha Gokulananda and Srila Prabhupada and his devotees. So Krishna takes birth, although he is unborn. So we don't often like to use this word janma. We don't usually word birth. Technically, we don't always like to use this word in relation to Krishna, because janma gives the idea of someone who is born just like every other living being is born in this world. Jatasya hi dhruva mritya. Everyone is born, they have to die. But Krishna, he is not born in the way that every other living being in this world is born due to their karmic reactions. We get different bodies. But Krishna, he's not born because he doesn't die. Although some people think that he died, and even in Mahabharata there's the description of how he dies, but that is qualified in the highest Shastra, Srimad Bhagavatam. It is apparent death is only to bewilder those who would like to say, just see, Krishna also died. They want to be in the illusion of thinking that Krishna is an ordinary person. So it's Asura Vimohana Lila, pastimes enacted for the bewilderment of the demons. But that's clearly explained in Bhagavatam that Krishna enacted this pastime just of being, anyway, we won't talk about that, of leaving this world, and he directly returned to the spiritual world with his eyes closed as he went, because he thought, I don't want to get stuck with all the social invitations of the demigods as I'm going past their planets. They'll invite him, just stop in here a few minutes, Krishna. He just closed his eyes and pretended he didn't see them. So Krishna, we say avibhav, and this is true of his devotees also, those who take birth in this world. We use a special language for them. In English it sounds rather awkward, because in English we don't have the culture of understanding Krishna. We use terms like, he appeared in this world, and to the average English-speaking person, this sounds rather strange. It sounds like something that parents used to tell their children, that when they ask, how was I born? We found you in a cabbage patch. So it might give some kind of idea that Krishna just appeared, just all of a sudden, just like some being, what's that they have in the science fiction movies? You just kind of laser beamed or something, just appear. in a place. So it might sound rather strange like that. And also we say he disappeared. It's very strange, it sounds very strange language that Srila Prabhupada disappeared from this world. What do you mean to say? He was there and all of a sudden, boom! You're looking at him and all of a sudden, there's nothing there. Is it like that? Or we say, Srila Prabhupada, we don't say he was sick. Technically we shouldn't say that. We should say he enacted the pastimes of apparently being sick. So these words are used to the Sanskrit words avibhava, tirobhava, appearance, and these are translated as appearance and disappearance, to distinguish from the birth and death of ordinary people. Krishna appears in this world out of his own mercy. So that's janma in one sense, but not in the ordinary sense. Actually, everyone's unborn. That's one of the qualities of the soul. Every living being is unborn. But conventionally we say that someone is born because they identify themselves. We identify ourselves with our bodies. And so we say, I am born, I was born, he was born, such and such a date, such and such a place, to such and such parents. But again, Krishna's birth is different, in as much as we are born again and again to different fathers and mothers in different forms with different identities that we misidentify with, different bodies and that we misidentify with. But Krishna, he always appears to the same parents. Of course he appears in different forms. When he appears as Ram, then his father and mother are Dasharat and Kaushalya. When he appears as Vamana, his father is Kashyap and mother Aditi. But as Krishna, the original form of Godhead, he always appears, well then again, it's who are the parents of Krishna? Vasudeva and Devaki, yes, that's true. And Nanda and Yashoda, that's also true. So that's another mystery. How can you have two sets of parents? We've heard of parents arguing over who are the actual parents. Nowadays they sort it out by DNA testing. In previous times there could be an argument over that. But Krishna is born to both Vasudeva and Devaki and to Nanda and Yashoda, and if we say no, it can only be one set of parents, then it's Nanda and Yashoda. Surprisingly. Well, it depends on which side of the river Yamuna you live. How you'll answer that question. But by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, he came from Vrindavan, and so we want to live on the Vrindavan side. And so Vrajvasis, they know Krishna is the son of Nanda and Yashoda. So, Krishna, he appears in this world, but not as an ordinary person. No one takes birth, but everyone takes birth. And in illusion, we take birth. Krishna's birth is not an illusion. Krishna takes birth in this world to take us out of illusion. Everyone else takes birth simply to die. What is there to say of someone who lives without knowing Krishna? They're simply living and thrashing about in the waters of material existence for some time, and then drowning, and then getting born again, and then drowning, then dying, and then getting born again, and then dying. So, when we say Krishna doesn't take birth, no one takes birth, but actually, in another sense, Krishna is the only one who really takes birth. and everyone else doesn't really take birth. Because if we say someone takes birth, John Smith, the famous John Smith, Mr. John Smith, takes birth, is born in Watford General Hospital, if there is such a thing. Is? They still didn't close it down and sell it off yet? No? Alright. So, John Smith is born in Watford General Hospital on the 24th. Is today the 24th? 24th of August. Wait a minute. I'm a little out of date there. 2008. So he's born. John Smith is born, and that body is born. But actually that body is, identifying that body and giving it a name, John Smith, because his parents are called Smith, and they decide to give him another original name, John. That's the name given to the body, but actually the body is dead anyway. It's never alive anyway. So actually we say that people are born, but they're not. We say John Smith was never born. And he only was born to die. It's just a matter tick, 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 tick. And then all of a sudden, the ticking stops. And he goes off to get thrown in another womb to be pop out again and then thrash about around for some time and then pop off again. But actually, being born means what? Being born means to live. Birth means to... So only Krishna lives. Everyone is simply dying. They're zombies anyway. Everyone's like a zombie without Krishna consciousness. It's achaitanya midang vishvam. The whole world is full of zombies. Everyone thinks that they're alive, but they're just... Now we hear these stories of takeovers from outer space. They put chips in your brain, and probably everyone's heard about this. It's local, modern folklore. Some people say it's true. I don't know. Maybe I've got a chip in my brain. So they're just controlled by beings from outer space. We're all controlled by Maya, and we think I have such and such an identity, but we're just like some robot can say, my name is John Smith. Can say that, but it has no meaning. It's just the robot can have John Smith stamped on the robot, and that robot is known as John Smith. But there's no actual person there, there's no actual life there. Even though the robot can be programmed to say, I am happy, life is great. But it's all meaningless. His life, his actual life is lost. The soul doesn't know who he is. His actual life is with Krishna, but the consciousness of that is covered over. So there's no life. It's all deathly existence. But Krishna lives. Living means enjoyment. If there's no enjoyment, there's no life. Krishna is the only one who he actually enjoys. Whereas everyone's body deteriorates at every moment. Krishna is avyaya. He never deteriorates. On the contrary, Krishna's enjoyment increases at every moment. So everyone is dying in this material world. Everyone is dying at every moment. If we say, I am 50 years old, that means we are 50 years dead. We're already 50 years closer to the next in our unlimited numbers of deaths. We're 50 years closer to the next one. That's all. So birth in this material world means death. That's all. Death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. But for Krishna there's no death. And just like we're dying at every moment, Krishna is ever fresh at every moment. He's always new. At every moment, he's like the Vaidurya gem. It's stated that it's always just like a kaleidoscope. It's always changing. Always some new, wonderful pattern. It's never the same. So Krishna is always fresh, ever new. For devotees who are alive in Krishna consciousness, then they experience Krishna as ever new, ever fresh, at every moment. So actually Krishna is the only one who's living, and everyone else, without Krishna consciousness, we're all dead, because our life is only coming from Krishna. Krishna is the life of all life. So if we attempt to disconnect ourselves from Krishna, it's like a spark that goes out of the fire. We become dull, dead. But if we're connected with Krishna, who is the life of all life, the light of all light, then we have light. So Krishna, he's the only one actually who is born. Because everyone else is simply born to die. And Krishna lives, he really lives. He really knows how to enjoy. Everyone else is making a very poor imitation. We see some people, they drink a lot, they smoke a lot, they have sex a lot, and they don't care for the future at all. And they dress in, often, they try to dress themselves very nicely, or sometimes in outlandish clothes, and they'll eat, and they just live for enjoyment, and trying to cram it in, and they don't care for what other people think, that what is social decorum, or they have the idea, well, we only live once, so we've got to enjoy it to the full. So, partially they got the philosophy right. Usually such people are not very philosophical, but there is a philosophical basis to that also. They've got the idea that, well, life is meant for enjoyment. So they got it right. Everyone thinks like that, but they think that, well, why mess about? Why go through all this rigmarole of working hard, getting money, and trying to be respectable and all this kind of thing? Just enjoy as much as you can, 24 hours. Just enjoy, party, constantly. Actually, here at the Manor, Prabhupada said that. When this journalist asked Prabhupada, what is the purpose of life? Very good question for a journalist. They don't usually ask such good questions. Srila Prabhupada, sitting in his room there, said, the purpose of life is to enjoy. I was surprised. I happened to be... I thought Prabhupada said, I thought he was going to say, to be austere, to have austerity. Prabhupada said, to enjoy. Then Prabhupada explained, but as living beings we are naturally happy, but we don't know where is happiness in this material world. But it's our natural propensity to seek enjoyment. So those who are committed to party, booze, and womanize or manize, as the case may be, and just have one heck of a time all their life, until it doesn't matter if you die early, because what's the point of living a long life if you're just a bowler hat brolly bearing? They don't do that anymore, do they? Chartered accountant or something boring like that. Sorry if there are any chartered accountants here. You're not that body. Chartered accountants don't come here, do they? They just... Anyway, such persons, they have realized the purpose of life is to enjoy, but they just made one mistake. They thought that they were the enjoyer. But Krishna is the enjoyer. Krishna is always partying. He really knows how to party. You thought there were 16,108 gopis? Well, that's true, but actually there are 3 billion in the Padma Purana, it says. And so Krishna has 3 billion girlfriends. How about that for a start? That put all the, everyone else in they're finished, I mean, if you have 2, 3, 4, 5, it's pretty difficult to juggle them all. What about, buying drinks for them all, So, but Krishna has 3 billion girlfriends. And he knows their names, and he dances with every one of them. And his party goes on all night. But because Krishna is the supreme controller, he makes the night of Lord Brahma. And he doesn't get tired without taking this ecstasy drug. He dances all night because he has his own ecstasy. So Krishna, he's really living life. He has a great time all the time. And in every conceivable manner and many more inconceivable manners. Let's get round to the verse now. I'm supposed to be talking about the verse here. So Krishna comes to this earth for many, many different reasons. Oh, what's this?
Extended.
We can go until 10:20. Jai. So, Kripamoy Prabhu is giving the mercy, giving us, extending our limited time in which we're attempting to discuss the unlimited. So Krishna is the verse. Brahma is speaking here, one of the many reasons why Krishna comes to this earth. And actually there are unlimited reasons. You cannot count the number of reasons comes to this earth. One reason is you, and every living being within the universe, Krishna comes for us. Each one of us. So that's unlimited to start with, because there are Eta Brahmanda Bhari Ananta Jivagam. There are unlimited living beings within the universe. So Krishna comes for unlimited reasons, and here Lord Brahma, who was bewildered just a few moments ago, before he suddenly realized, oops, I made a mistake. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now Brahma, having come out of his illusion, and come back to Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kaviye, coming back to the knowledge which was imparted to him by Krishna at the time of creation, at the time of creation of Brahma. He is praising Krishna, that although you have nothing, my dear master, although you have nothing to do with material existence, you come to this earth and imitate material life just to expand the varieties of ecstatic enjoyment for your surrendered devotees. So Krishna comes to enjoy. He's already enjoying in Goloka, but he comes to enjoy in this world to give pleasure to his devotees. Krishna's enjoyment, we hear about Krishna's enjoyment. What's Krishna's enjoyment? Today is a fasting day, not for Krishna. Today, there are more items, unlimited items to be offered to Krishna. Every day, Krishna is offered many nice foods. Here, at Radha Gokulananda's abode, every day, he's offered very nice foods. But today, more varieties of nice foods. Kulangana, Mataji, what are you doing here? She's famous for Radha Gokulananda's sweets, Mangalarti sweets, great tradition, famous all over the world. Today there will be more varieties offered to Krishna. If we tried to eat in one day, just on one day, if we tried to eat what Krishna eats for breakfast, we'd have to fast for many days, not just for one day. Because Krishna is unlimited, he also has an unlimited digestion. And therefore, he eats huge breakfast, has a huge lunch, and then in between he has snacks, and then he comes home and has a huge meal, and then he also has to drink milk from all the cows who want to, they want to have the ecstasy of offering their milk to him. And then at night also, when he sneaks out, bad boy, sneaks out and goes to the forest, then in the middle of the Ras Leela, they take a little break also, a little snacks break. But what Krishna has for snacks would wipe any of us out, just even thinking about it. So Krishna has unlimited digestion because he's the supreme enjoyer, but his enjoyment comes from reciprocating with his devotees who want to offer all varieties of nice food to him. And he accepts that, he enjoys that, he likes that. But most of all, he likes to see his devotees happy. So Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. When we hear this, we might think that, well, it's kind of selfish, isn't it? You know, it's got everyone in the whole universe just serving him and making him happy. It sounds selfish, but it's not selfish because Krishna takes the greatest happiness in seeing his devotees happy. He doesn't really care for good food in and of itself, but he likes to accept it because the devotees offer it with love. So he wants to make his devotees happy. But how do his devotees become happy? When Krishna's happy. So again, he has to be the supreme enjoyer. He has to accept their offerings of love, and then he enjoys that, and then they're happy. And then he's happy because they're happy. But it's not that Krishna is like this, these party goers who are just trying to cram in as many things into their senses as they can. Not exactly like that. We know the story of Duryodhana, for political reasons, inviting Krishna for a king's meal. But Krishna didn't want to come. Krishna says, well, I get a king's meal every day, better than you. What do I need your food for? You don't like my devotee. I'm not going to go and eat with you. Forget it. So Krishna didn't want to accept all the opulent food offered by Duryodhana because it was not offered with love. He had a motive. He wanted to, for political purposes, he wanted to try to get Krishna on his side. But then he went to the abode of Vidur, his devotee who wasn't there, and only Vidur's wife was there, and she was so ecstatic that Krishna has come to my home. She's a great devotee. So I have to feed Krishna. If a guest comes, you have to feed them. Anyone comes to your home, you have to feed them. There's nothing in the home, only some bananas. All right, give Krishna bananas. Sorry, don't have anything else. Take these bananas. She's peeling them and throwing away the banana and giving the skin. Because in her ecstasy that Krishna has come to my home. And Krishna's eating the banana skins. He doesn't say, well, could you give me the bananas, please? But he doesn't want to interrupt her ecstasy or make her feel disappointed. So Krishna, who just refused the opulent foods offered by Duryodhana, the best in the world. Duryodhana was king of the world and he had facility to offer the best food in the world. Krishna not interested. And then some banana skins offered by his devotee. Yes, Krishna is very happily eating. It's giving him more ecstasy than any opulent foods that anyone could offer. In Chaitanya Leela also, we find that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees, they would offer him all nice foods and he had tried to refuse it and they'd force him to eat it. But Raghunath Das Goswami, he was avoiding opulent food. He took so much opulent food in his parents' house and he was renounced. He didn't want opulent food. There are different... sometimes by accepting opulent food, one is performing bhakti, and sometimes by refusing it, one is performing bhakti. So in general, for the devotees, it's vairagya vidya. It's renunciation and knowledge, not indulgence. Raghunath Das Goswami was taking very little food and not taking opulent food and trying to avoid it, and he eventually came to the point that, when he was living in Puri, I have to something has to be eaten to maintain this body so that I can go on with my service to Krishna. It's not proper just to starve, and we are told that it's part of bhakti to take prasadam. But why should I take the opulent food? So he eventually came to the point of taking the rice offered to Jagannath, which the excess rice which was thrown out. We shouldn't throw out prasadam, but somehow or other some rice was being thrown out, because the rice which wasn't purchased, which had become what we would call a little rotten, although actually prasadam never becomes rotten. It's, again, we shouldn't say that, even though to ordinary sense perception it may appear to be rotten. But even the cows wouldn't eat it. It was little far gone, like that. So Raghunath Das Goswami would collect that rice and rinse the outer portion. Rice, if you cook it, sometimes you cook it and you press it a little and you think it's cooked, but you have to press it fully and see if it fully squashes, because there's an outer portion and an inner portion. So the outer portion may be soft, but the inner portion is still hard. So it has to be all fully cooked. So the outer portion, that he would wash that off. And the inner portion, the harder portion, he would take that. Can you imagine taking each grain of rice? I mean, he didn't eat many grains, or inner portions of grains. He ate very little. So just that part, he would take it. And not just hiding himself away. But you can't hide from Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is within everyone's heart. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day went to see what Raghunath Das was eating. And he found him eating. He said, "What is this? What is this you're eating, Raghunath? Looks like you're hiding away and eating," because Raghunath didn't want to do it in front of everyone and make a big show. "Everybody, I'm very renounced. Just see what I'm eating, very renowned." He didn't want to do that. So he very clandestinely, he did this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accused him that you are taking the best nectarian prasadam and you're just keeping it all to yourself and you're not even telling anyone. And what kind of a vairagi are you? You're not supposed to do that. If you have good nectar prasadam, you have to share it with everyone. Why are you cheating me? So Raghunath Das is kind of hiding it away. He didn't want it. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was asking, "Give me some." And Raghunath Das thought, this is not fit to give Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forcibly snatched that from Raghunath Das and chewed it and said, "This is the best prasadam I ever took. This is better than all the cakes and all the opulent sabjis. This is the best, because this is Raghunath Das's bhakti." So Krishna is attracted. He is all attracted, but he is attracted by the bhakti of his devotees. And he comes to this world to exhibit wonderful pastimes. The pastimes means with devotees. It's not a one-man show. All his devotees are there, and they perform various activities, wonderful activities, but they're all meant for reciprocation of love. And seeing Krishna, the devotees become astonished again and again. This is rasa. The Krishna is Rasa Raja, the king of rasa. Vyatitya bhavana vagma yas chamatkara bharabu hridi sadvojvale bardham svadate saraso mataha. This rasa, which also means juice. Krishna gets juice. He gets juiced up, gets charged up with rasa by exchanging with his devotees various pastimes, and then there's an exchange of rasa, and Krishna is Anyway, let's talk about what rasa is first. So that, what is the rasa that Krishna, the juice that Krishna enjoys with his devotees? It's not any rasa of this material world. It's beyond material conception. And that which produces a deep sense of wonder. Everything Krishna does is wonderful. And his devotees are taking part in those wonderful pastimes with Krishna. They're always overwhelmed with how wonderful is Krishna. And Krishna becomes overwhelmed. How wonderful are my devotees. So this is possible to experience only in a purified heart. This rasa of this material world, it's supposed to be rasa, but actually it's dry or poisonous. Just like if you can you imagine drinking sulfuric acid, for instance? What would be the effect? Ever did that accidentally? It would like burn up your mouth and dry it all out. It's not relishable. Maybe you're very thirsty. You think, I need something to drink. And don't drink that. That's sulfuric acid. You got to drink something, but don't drink that. No, I got to drink something. This is our position in the material world. We need rasa. We can't exist without rasa. But we're drinking fire. We're drinking sulfuric acid. It's maybe when it first hits the tongue, there's some experience. Last, I'm so dried up. I got some water. But then we find the next second it's burning us up. But we don't know anything. Then we're feeling burned up. I got to drink some more. But the only acid. I'm so burning. I got to drink something. There's only this. Okay, drink that. That's our position. We want juice, but we're just taking the juice, material juice, which is burning it. The more we take it, the more we get burned up. It doesn't nourish us, but the actual rasa, spiritual rasa, nourishes us and nourishes Krishna. It's a completely different experience. In this material world, we're only thinking of being happy and enjoying, and they lived happily ever after. What a farce. Born to die. They say there's, what is that? Born to live. What is that? Born to Born to lose? No. There's some movie or something. Born to what? Anyway, whatever it is. In this material world, everyone is born to die. Born to suffer. We can do an astrological chart for every child born. Their life will be full of suffering, and at the end, they'll die. That's it. I'm an expert astrologer. I know I can tell all of you, not all of you, but everyone's life. Simply struggle, and at the end, you die. But for Krishna, there's no struggle. For Krishna, it's just, He is Anandam Buddhi. He is the ocean of bliss, which is ever increasing. There's no limit to Krishna's bliss. And Krishna shares his bliss with his devotees. He can't even experience bliss without his devotees. There is no bliss without others. Can you imagine if you're given, all right, now we're going to present you with $100 million house. Pound house. Are there any such houses? Buckingham Palace. You can't buy it, even if you had 100 million pounds. Must be worth more than that. Anyway, we're going to give you a big house and lots, every day, wonderful food and whatever your TV with 100,000 channels and all that. But the only one thing, you never speak with anyone, you never talk with, never see anyone, never. Solitary confinement. You can enjoy it all in solitary confinement. Is there any enjoyment in that? It might seem like that. At first it might seem very nice. Phew, got away from all those people. But there's no enjoyment without others. So Krishna expands himself as his devotees and enjoys unlimitedly, unimaginably. Krishna is wonderful. If you see a magic trick, today there's going to be a magic show in this tent. But the original magic show is over there in the temple. That Krishna is always performing wonderful activity. He's always wonderful, always new dresses, new food, new dance styles. So there'll be a magic show, but it looks wonderful. What do? They pull a rabbit out of the hat, show the hat, put it down, there's nothing in the hat, and then puts it and pulls out a rabbit. So it's wonderful, it's amazing. I don't know how they do it. Parashuram knows, he's an initiated magician. You have to take initiation and take training. They give you secret procedures. Sleight of hand. I don't know how they do it. It's inconceivable how they pull a rabbit out of they showed you an empty hat. And then what else is there? The sawing the woman in half. She comes, sits in the box, and then they saw her, and she's still alive. How do they do it? I don't know. But anyway, even though it's amazing, if you watch it 10 times, 50 times, you fall asleep probably, like people usually do in the Srimad Bhagavatam class. So because it becomes boring. Seen it before. What else? Got to try something new. But Krishna, what he does is, it's always new, although it's the same script. It's the same drama, more or less, sometimes there's a little difference. Just like sometimes when Krishna goes to Mathura, he doesn't go on a Krua's chariot, he rides Kaliya, so we're told. Hitches up Kaliya and rides on Kaliya serpent to Mathura. And sometimes he appears. So sometimes it's a little different, but more or less it's the same. There's always Ras Leela, there's always Mother Yashoda, there's always Mother Yashoda tucking in Krishna at night so he can have a good night's sleep, and then Krishna jumps out the window and runs off to the forest. It's more or less the same script. So Krishna, his Nava rasa, always new rasa. It doesn't come from the script being different, but Krishna himself being wonderful in so many ways, and the experience of Krishna, the nuances of his personality, his laughing, his joking, his form, because Krishna is unlimited, it doesn't become boring. Everything in this world is limited, so if you do it again and again, it becomes dry. But Krishna is unlimited. And unlimited by definition, there's no end to it. And so the pleasure that one takes in Krishna is unlimited. Well, it's a possibility of unlimited pleasure. And Krishna's unlimitedness increases always. Now, that's also not logical. Because if it's unlimited, it can't increase. That means that there was something greater that it could increase in, that it was incomplete. If it increases, it means it's incomplete. Anything that increases, it's incomplete. So, if something's unlimited, then it can't increase. But Krishna is unlimited, and his unlimitedness always increases. So I'm not going to attempt to explain that because it's not explainable. But it's true, because Krishna is unlimited, and one feature of his unlimitedness is that we can't even define his unlimitedness. And that unlimited Krishna appears in the prison house of Kamsa in a limited situation. You can't get out. You put our desire, the prison house is, why is it a punishment to be locked in a prison? Because our desire to roam freely, to have unlimited choice where to go, that is restricted. Limitedness is a restriction. Or restriction means limitedness. So Krishna appears within the prison house of Kamsa, which is in the prison house of the material world, but he's never in any prison. And he immediately goes out from that prison house. and frustrates Kamsa by killing all the demons sent by Kamsa. And eventually he goes and kills Kamsa also. Out of his unlimited mercy, he delivers all the demons. Krishna, the unlimited, takes birth. And we can also take birth at every moment by always remembering Krishna and always committing ourselves to Krishna. Janmashtami is also a good day for us to take birth. Our bhakti can take birth. Sometimes it may seem our bhakti takes birth and appears to die. Bhakti never dies. But sometimes it may seem like our bhakti is being covered over. So it's a good day also to make the commitment to live for Krishna, to be Krishna conscious. We take that commitment at the time of initiation, but that commitment means it's an ongoing commitment which we can renew. We should renew at every. If a commitment is not renewed at every moment, then, or if we don't live up to that commitment at every moment, then it becomes redundant, or we fail to fulfill that. So Krishna is very kind, and even if we don't fully commit ourselves at every moment, which we should be, fully committing ourselves at every moment to Krishna, then He gives us the opportunity to do so again and again and again. And these festivals are especially inspiring for bhakti. Every day in Krishna consciousness is a festival because Krishna is Himself, and He is an ongoing festival. But especially these special festivals, they're a time for us to say that, hey, wait a minute, I could be doing this every day. This coming and being happy with chanting Hare Krishna and chanting, being in the association of devotees. I don't have to do it I can do it every day. Why? This is living. Why don't I do it every day? I should commit myself to Krishna. To do this every day, every moment, and live. Really live. Instead of dying at every moment, we can live at every moment. So that commitment, we can make it. Especially today. That today's Janmashtami, I don't have to go away from the temple and come back again only next Janmashtami. I can be here every morning for Mangalarti. Every morning is a new start. Every moment is a new start. So, Krishna appears in this world. He appeared in the heart of Vasudeva and was attracted or transmitted to the heart of Devaki, who represents Vasudeva is pure consciousness. Satvang Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. Vasudeva means pure consciousness. Krishna appears there. And pure consciousness is always married with bhakti. So in the pure consciousness of bhakti, Krishna appears, takes birth. So we may also pray that Krishna take birth in our hearts, but that heart will have to be what? Pure heart, with pure devotion to Krishna. So I had time up till 10 o'clock. I was extended up till 10:20. It's now 10 o'clock. And if there are any questions or comments, please field them now. Shuddhakirti Prabhu, you must have been with Prabhupada on Janmashtami. Okay. Here. Okay, please come and tell us.
You ask for questions first.
All right, are there any questions? No question. Yes, you have a question. What did Srila Prabhupada say when he was here with me? I wasn't here on Janmashtami. I was born, I guess, a surrogate child or something. Hansaduta he chanted on the beats for me, Hansaduta Prabhu. So, my few words that I personally spoke to Srila Prabhupada, well, it really was very few. It's in a book. I wrote it in a book. My Memories of Srila Prabhupada. I thought that, well, the few words that Prabhupada spoke to me is far more important than anything that George Bush ever says. Or anything that Prabhupada said. If Prabhupada asked for a glass of water, that's far more important than, all the philosophy books ever written in the world by non-Vaishnavas. So, even though Srila Prabhupada just spoke a few words to me, I put it in that book. But that wasn't on Janmashtami. That was a few days after Ram Navami in Vrindavan in 1976. We always want to know, what did Prabhupada say? Well, what did Prabhupada say? Prabhupada said, the verse he quoted more than any other was Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Especially those two lines. This is what Prabhupada said. That's what he was always saying. He came to this world to say what Krishna said. Therefore he is Prabhupada. Yeah, anything else? You're smiling there, looking like you're getting warmed up.
Many devotees were here. Who was here for the installation? 1973.
Paravidya Prabhu was here. Kishore Prabhu was here. I asked Paravidya yesterday. Anyone else? So you're going to come and tell us about Janmashtami 1973 for the next 16 minutes? Books, yeah, okay. Well, okay, I'll announce it, why not?
Just say one thing, if I can just say one thing.
Okay, you don't need a mic, you've got a good, strong voice. John, this is Kishore Prabhu, in case any of you don't know, disciple of Srila Prabhupada.
Maybe two things.
You got 3 fingers up. So 2 can become 3. I'm asking for more nectar. I'm not making.
4 and 5.
Yeah, okay, let's hear it.
Start with 1 and 2. Let me see. Well, the first thing is that yes, I was present on August the 22nd, 1973 is the day that Srila Prabhupada invited Radha Gokulananda to Bhaktivedanta Manor.
It's almost the same day, it's just 2 days difference.
The 23rd, of course, the day after, was the day that we all celebrated Srila Prabhupada's appearance. The first thing I'd like to say is that I was present then, and I'm also sitting in this chair now in this room. In this little, and I have to say that the feeling in this room is wonderful. In this tent, in this particular tent, I can see Srila Prabhupada over there prominently displayed, and I can see Gaurnitai and Srila Prabhupada prominently displayed over there, and I can see that a lot of very personal service has gone into creating this space in which I can particularly feel very connected to Srila Prabhupada, the way I did when I came into Krishna consciousness quite some time ago. So the first thing, and you were talking about magic.
Prabhupada was the greatest magician.
That I feel there could be no more magic than the fact that I'm sitting in this tent today. 38 years, is it? 30?
73, 35. Yeah.
That's magic.
Jai, Hare Krishna.
And simply the second thing is that I was present before Prabhupada in the temple room over there on the 23rd of August, which was Janmashtami. And one of the things that happened
Vyasa Puja.
Vyasa Puja. And one of the things that took place was the presentation of that beautiful painting of Srila Prabhupada.
Right, which is unfortunately covered up right now.
Which is the first thing that, even to this day, people who come to Bhaktivedanta Manor and enter the temple room, they see this beautiful portrait of Srila Prabhupada there. And on that day that was presented to Srila Prabhupada, it was also covered up. And then at the point of presentation, it was
unveiled.
Unveiled.
Yeah.
Unveiled. And I can remember the humility of Srila Prabhupada. I still to this day personally think it's the most beautiful, accurate portrait of Srila Prabhupada that I've still seen, out of all that I've seen. I think it's a wonderful, very, very unique portrait. And Prabhupada glanced at it for just a couple of seconds, like this, and immediately his attention came back to Radha Gokulananda. So although he acknowledged the presentation, I felt that he was acknowledging the service of the artist, rather than what a beautiful portrait of myself. I had that sense of humility right there in that moment. So that was a very important recollection of that day in 1973, Vyasa Puja Day. Again, Prabhupada's intense humility. He only glanced for a couple of seconds at that portrait and offered his pranam, and immediately his attention came back again to Radha Gokulananda. So if that's saying anything, I don't know, but it's just a glimmer of the personality of Srila Prabhupada, who we've all come here today to honor so many years later. So that's all I'll say for now. There's so much more.
I remember I was here when Prabhupada came in 75 and 76, and my memories of those two visits are mixed up. But I remember that Prabhupada, he was sitting on Vyasasana facing Radha Gokulananda, and he just became quiet for it seemed like a very long time. He was just looking at the deities, and everyone else, obviously, everyone was all quiet. Does anyone else remember that? Yeah.
You went into ecstasy.
Right, yeah.
That was a period, it was 1975, and I traveled with him as he went through Mexico City, Caracas, Atlanta, which was a very famous place. He went into ecstasy there on the Vyasa. He was actually going into ecstasy a lot
Jai.
over the course of that month. And,
Yeah, he was talking about the Radha Gokulananda, they're so beautiful, and then he just stopped. And it seemed like a long time. He was just sitting there and stunned in ecstasy.
and then he went to Mayapur, and he also went into ecstasy.
Yeah.
So in the course of 1 month, it was at least 3-4 times.
He was seized by ecstasy on several occasions on the Vyasasana, yeah.
Which went into ecstasy means he just closed his eyes and external contact.
Right, I had the impression he was looking at Radha Gokul and said, they're talking about they're so beautiful. Fool as I am, I don't remember the words exactly.
Of course, Radha Gokulananda,
They were right in the center of the altar at that time.
yeah.
There was one altar. Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman came later.
And they also took birth twice because they were at Apando in India before they came here. Called by Prabhupada. He was with them for 1 week. He spoke for 1 week. I'm not sure if it was Delhi or Hyderabad, I think Delhi. And just like he did here, it was really interesting because when he was at the Pandal with them, on the very last day of the Pandal, they would have kirtan, of course, every evening. This was before thousands of Indians would come and attend. And Prabhupada would always give very strong lectures. And then on the very last day, the Chutananda started leading kirtan, and all the devotees, these were stages. We were always on a stage with the deities, and all the people were on the ground, on the carpet. So this is 1973.
Yeah.
And they were not very secure stages either. And they're, maybe
Wobbly stages, yeah.
40 or 50 of
Start
us.
dancing on the stage and it starts shaking from side to side.
Stood up, and he started walking around. And then of course, he first stopped and he just looked at Radha Gokulananda.
He did parikrama of Radha Gokulananda.
He did 3 times he went around.
Pradakshina.
Each time he would stop and offer his respect. And the 3rd time he went around, and all the devotees followed him around, of course. So he went around, and then he stopped, and he offered them respect. And then he just turned around with this big smile, and he just raised his arms and started jumping up and down on the stage. And everyone started dancing. Everyone went into ecstasy. Prabhupada went into ecstasy. And all the devotees were ecstatic and dancing and dancing. And then, as they were dancing, then even Radha Gokulananda started.
He started dancing also.
They were going back and forth. And Jamuna and myself, we went and we grabbed the deities and we held them down. And then Prabhupada stopped. And he went into the car afterwards. We were in the back seat and he smiled. And I said, Prabhupada, that was really ecstatic. I said, that was really something. He said, yes. He said, I would have kept on dancing. He said, but I saw that the deities were moving. He said, so I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he came here, of course, and he installed the deities, and then he did the first arti, and after the arti, again, he went around and he circumambulated.
Right, yeah.
And then when he was done, then he started thinking. So he did this exact same thing. So he really had a great love for Radha Gokulananda.
Magic. He appeared. Appeared from behind the screen. It's got more tricks coming. Anything else? Yeah, okay. Shurakirti Prabhu is going now. Going, I mean not leaving, but he's on a roll.
As Kushur was saying, tomorrow, which was very nice, was a Vyas Puja ceremony, which was really ecstatic as well. And we have a video of Prabhupada, of course. At the end of that, you see that video of Yadubara, and we see Prabhupada in a room sitting on the floor, and there's like 10, 15 plates in front of him, and he's just picking. He's all alone, and you see him, and he looks, and then he looks there, and then he picks it. Well, that's here at Bhaktivedanta Manor, where that's the place. Prabhupada had his entire Vyas Puja piece brought up to the room after the festival, so then he was just enjoying everything that was there. But he gave a lecture that day, and first, of course, all the devotees offered their homages to Prabhupada. And then afterwards, Prabhupada started glorifying all of his disciples, and in particular, he mentioned Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he said because Prajumna, he called him Prajumna
Panditji. Panditji, Pandit Mashai.
Yeah, he said actually Prajumna has done it. So Prabhupada just turned it all around after everyone glorified him. Then he started, in particular, he started glorifying something. He mentioned the Grahasta devotees. I think he mentioned maybe Bhagavan. It's recorded.
Shamasundar was there?
Shamasundar was here.
Mukunda must have been there. Gurudas,
So Prabhupada
famous.
started giving back all the praise that he had gotten to his disciples. And then he went upstairs and ate the tea.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Looks like you all don't want to go. Well, there's many other activities coming up. All right, I'll finish there. May I take the liberty, as I often do after classes, to mention I have some books here? Yeah. Srila Prabhupada told me to write philosophical and educational books, so I'm attempting to do that. And some of them are available here. They're meant mostly for devotees, so you're all devotees. So if you'd like to take some, please come and have a look. And they're also CDs of lectures available. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone can try and chant 64 rounds today. It's actually the most difficult day to chant even 16 rounds, because everyone's very busy. But, this is great honor and transcendental torture also. This is a peacock design sandesh. Looks like a